destroyed private property. Finland has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. There is very little crime in Finland other than alcohol. Unlike the United States, it is not probable that any of these teens will be carrying concealed guns. The Finnish population has never been a gun-carrying people. The suspect is still very agitated, and he is soon handcuffed by the officers. The officers pat his head and try to calm him down. Finnish police rarely use force in dealing with the citizens. The officers are not aggressive. They rarely draw their weapons. They try to use reason and persuasion. Because Finns are rarely armed and are not usually aggressive or violent, these peaceful police methods work very well. There were over 10,000 juvenile males arrested last year, but the vast majority of these arrests were alcohol-related. Alcoholism is a national problem in Finland. In recent times, you could find children drunk on the school grounds. Recent community and police programs have, however, dramatically reduced the incidence of alcohol use on school grounds. Alcohol, however, is not at the root of this evening's violence. The suspect got in an argument with another boy and took his anger out on the boy's car. He threw something at the car and damaged the door. The owner of the car immediately called the police. The Finns are law-abiding people and usually call the police at the slightest hint of trouble. The large crowd of teens surround the officers. Everyone has an opinion of what happened here tonight. It is clear, however, that the suspect is at fault. He damaged private property and broke the law. No matter what the provocation, he is in the wrong for damaging the car. He will learn a valuable lesson in self-control here tonight. Violence against persons or property is not tolerated in Finland. Citizens are expected to exercise self-control over their tempers. The boy is taken into the police van and driven to the station for processing. Like everyone who is transported in a police vehicle, the boy is in handcuffs. The young suspect is subdued without his group of friends around to posture for. Arriving at the station, the boy is taken inside. Because he does not pose any threat, he is soon unhandcuffed. As he poses for his police photo, much of the boy's belligerence has disappeared. He will have a lot of explaining to do when his family comes to pick him up. Helsinki, Finland. Police respond to a call that a man who is badly injured and bleeding has escaped from a hospital. The man had been drinking and fell and injured himself. Alcohol abuse is the leading problem in Finland, with over 90% of all police calls being alcohol-related. The Finns have large shelters where the drunks are taken to sleep it off. Over 20,000 people a year pass through these shelters. Police continue to comb the streets for the man, asking citizens if they have seen him. The man is reported to be covered in blood, so he should not be hard to find. Eventually, the police get a location on the man and rush to the area. He is found passed out on a bus bench. The officers quickly examine his injuries. They wear protective gloves, as is the standard police procedure. The widespread danger of infectious disease, especially those transmitted in bodily fluids, has caused most police forces to adopt wearing gloves when handling all persons. People who are bleeding are in special danger to all personnel who handle them. AIDS and hepatitis spread quickly through contact with contaminated blood. The man is bleeding very little now, but he is obviously injured. He is also not coherent. It is hard to tell if his lack of coherence is from the alcohol or from his head injuries. The police examine him for fresh injuries. He does not seem to have sustained any new injuries since walking out of the hospital. His scalp wounds, however, appear to be still bleeding a little. The paramedics soon arrive. Now they will take over examining the man. The paramedics have all of the medical equipment needed to handle the situation. It is a situation with which they are very familiar. People under the influence of alcohol often injure themselves. Injuries like these from falling are very common. The man keeps insisting that he wants to go home to his house. He does not want to go to the hospital. Unfortunately, this decision is not up to him. It is clear that the man is not in full charge of his faculties. He is semi-conscious. He has sustained a head injury from a bad fall. The medical personnel will determine what course of action to take. The Finnish police work very closely with the paramedics. The officers often have to transport injured drunks to the hospital for treatment. After treatment, the officers usually take them to the drunk shelter. The police would like to have a lot of this type of work taken over by social service workers, as it is in many other countries. Currently, however, this work still falls under the providence of the police department. Much of the police officers' patrol time is spent dealing with community health and safety issues, such as this call here today. The man is loaded into the ambulance. He is in no immediate danger, but he is in need of further medical assistance. He will not be going home at this time. The officers will follow the ambulance to the hospital to ensure that this man remains in the hospital to be treated. If the man is fit to be released from medical care, but is still under the influence of alcohol, then the police will take him to the drunk shelter. Buenos Aires, Argentina.